Ohio. To the greenhouse, the resort statute city in the northwest of the Czech Republic, in the district of the Estetsky region of the same name. It is located in the valley of the Belina River, the foot of Krušný Mountains, and 90 km from Prague. Height above sea level -220 m. Railway junction. Glass, ceramic, textile, food industry. To the greenhouse, the known balneological resort. Teplice mineral sources are mentioned in the 15th century. Water temperature of Teplice sources -40 -44 C. Water differs in the increased fluorine content. Treatment of nervous diseases and diseases of the musculoskeletal device. Among sites, a town hall. 1545. The Cistercian monastery. There are a theatre, Philharmonic Hall, Museum of Local Lore. Annually in the greenhouse the musical festival of Ludwig van Beethoven is held. The football club is widely known to greenhouse, and the owner of a Cup of the Czech Republic mini football club, Baltic Fora. Archaeological excavations demonstrate that the first settlers appeared about 40,000 years ago here. Further here Celts. In the 4th century BB. And after them the German tribes of Marcomanna and Quada lived. Thermal sources were found here in 762. However, the first confirmed data on a mention of one of the district of the city, Tenroven, belonged to 1057. Further development Teplice belongs to the 12th century. In 1160 the Queen Judita, Vladisla's wife, near the ancient Slavic settlement founded monastery of nuns Benedictinae. Century later on this place there was a strengthened Gothic city. Through Teplice widely known road, 2 saxophones, ran. The monastery ceased to exist for a short time after the end of Hussite wars. All property of the monastery was transferred to a private property. Owners of the city often replaced each other. On the place of monastery the lock in the Renaissance style was built. The resort industry continued to develop. The last Czech owner Teplice Willem Kinski from Kinitz and Albrecht von Wallenstein were killed in February 1643 in Heap. These territories were confiscated by the emperor and the right for their possession was transferred to German Yang from Aldringen, who died in the same year under the obscure circumstances, without having seen new lands. By a right of succession of the earth Teplice passed to his sister in a marriage, who changed a surname for Clary. After 30 years war partially destroyed, local population was filled by the German immigrants whose descendants lived up to evacuation of 1945 here. The lists of vacationers which remained up to now in local resorts belong to 1680. The oldest in the Czech Republic. Clary Eldringena reconstruct the lock and make out in Baroque style. Also in 1718 the plate column of the Blessed Trinity. Matthias Brand's work, which decorates with itself, himself. The Zemetsky Square of the city also now was constructed. In the 18th century the industry intensively develops. In 1742 copper mines appear. To the greenhouse becomes the center of textile production. In particular, is stocking. In 1793 in the city there was a strong fire in which it burned down completely, or a considerable part of wooden constructions considerably suffered. The city of Teplice was built up anew thanks to what its architecture gained lines of classicism. It considerably distinguishes him from all other cities of the Czech Republic. In life of the settlement it is possible to carry a meeting to a significant event. Casual. Beethoven and Goethe in one of parks. On the place of their meeting the memorable plate is established now. It became the greenhouse, the place of signing in 1813 of the contract between Russia, Prussia and Austria of the minding Napoleon. In 1938 these lands were transferred to the Third Reich as a part of, primordially German lands, the Sudets. To the greenhouse it was released in the spring of 1945. During the Prague operation on release of the capital of Czechoslovakia, Teplice became collection point and transit of the Soviet troops from Germany for cleaning of Prague of fascist invaders. To the greenhouses in the warm climatic area of the Czech Republic. Average air temperature. For the time period from 1961 to 2000. January of 1.8 C, July about 18.2 C. The average annual amount of precipitation is equal to 563 m. In the greenhouse there are, especially often from October to March, daily fluctuations of temperature. The condition of air for the last 90 years considerably improved. The city is located at the height of 399 meters above sea level. In the previous centuries there lived here quite numerous community of Jews which possessed a certain district of the city. Also earlier there was a synagogue which was burned in March 1939. About 600 people were banished in concentration camps. At the moment there is a small Jewish community, most of which part is made by the people who endured the Holocaust. Healthcare. Except resort service, in the city there is a wide network of public health institutions. Regional hospital and polyclinic, 5 trustee services, the numerous state and private practicing doctors, 11 drugstores in different parts of the city. History. On July 17, 1888 there began the work the Fund for Fundraising on Construction of Hospital. In 1891 the local companies put forward various projects from which one was chosen, on a sample of the Berlin and Vienna hospitals, on 130 beds. The cost of works was estimated at zlotys. In April 1895 construction was ended and, after equipment all necessary stock, was solemnly opened on August 18, 1896. In the next years various reorganizations of the building were made. But during World War I the building catastrophically decayed. Only in 1924 the Regional Admin Committee began to solve this problem. The plan of gradual reconstruction of hospital was made. In 1925 hospitals of the earth, about 25 hectares, adjacent to perimeter, were purchased. Reconstruction continued up to 1931. It was during this time constructed new reception, surgical and infectious offices, various technical buildings, improvement of the territory and modernization of the equipment is carried out. Capacity increased to 592 beds. Costs of reconstruction made about ¼ kroner. Traditional action is the annual ceremonial opening of a resort season which takes place during the last April weekend. Education. In the city 16 comprehensive schools and a number of average special educational institutions work. Industrial School Teplice, Hotel School, Textile, Sewing School, Construction School, Trade Academy, Conservatory, Medical School, Gymnasium to the Greenhouse, Sport. In the city several tens of sports associations and clubs function. The most known is the football club to Greenhouse. Jambrnas Ligi, the highest league of the Czech Championship, is the participant. It is also possible to allocate such sports clubs as SKS, Star, SKS of Trnava, SKS, Lokomotiv Teplice, SKS, Bonex, SKS Acts. In 2008 the mini-football club, Baltic Fora, which at the moment acts in the first highest division of the Czech Championship, was founded. Following the results of seasons 2009/2010, 2010/2011 and 2013/2014, team won silver medals of the Championship of the Czech Republic. In his season 2013/2014, Baltic Fora became the owner of the Cup of the Czech Republic. In the city the men's tennis tournament of category Future is held. Car traffic in the Greenhouse is complicated only in a historical part of the city where streets are narrow and weren't initially calculated on motor transport. In general the movement quiet and free, thanks to the built multi-level road interchanges. City public transport appeared in the Greenhouse for the first time in 1895. At the time on streets trams appeared. Then everywhere introduced in the Czech Republic. In the 1950th years trams became insufficiently mobile and convenient in use for satisfaction of needs of increasing population. The tram message was finally stopped in 1959. Trolleybuses according to initial plans had to supplement trams only. The first trolleybus line was built in 1952 and quickly forced out trams from transport network. The trolleybus park to the Greenhouse reached the largest size in the 1980th, the beginning of the 1990th years, but stagnation began further and the park was disbanded. In present time the modern and modernized trolleybuses become an integral part of public life of the city again. Buses appeared in the 1920th years but gained popularity only after World War II. In 2007 the transport company offered 27 bus, city and suburban, and 10 trolleybus routes. Since 2008 the owner of Teplice Transport Company is the French firm Veolia Transport. The railway station to the Greenhouse in Czech is the large transport hub. The first branch line from Ústí nad Labem to Teplice was constructed in 1859 and further was continued to Chomutov. City sites. Botanical gardens were the cause for pride of their founders and patrons of the city, the place of knowledge far and exotic, and were an ordinary part of the large and well-known cities. The basis of a botanical garden in the Greenhouse was necessary under the leadership of the Prince Clary Aldringen. Structures of such plan then bore the name Stadtgärtnerei, that is city gardening, and worked at resorts for providing them in the Sveshesvizani colors of the area for a wintering of palm trees. Thanks to efforts of local public figures, in March 1975 it was succeeded to carry out reconstruction of greenhouses and to make pots public. In 2004 large-scale reorganization was carried out, old greenhouses and hotbeds were demolished also on their place, from the base, new were built. Now the garden has the area of 2 hectares, from them more than a hectare is taken away for an external exposition, the area of greenhouses is 2400 m. Before an entrance to a greenhouse the statue Yuma of Cox, god of the tribe Maya, the keeper of plants and animals, is established. The first hall is stylized under a Southern Asian pagoda. In her construction and registration active part was taken by Teplice handicraftsmen. Further visitors get to the hall with dessert plants from Mexico and South Africa, for example. The special value of this department is flora of the island of Socotra. In a tropical hotbed of visitors the exposition of the tropical rainforest waits, except vegetation. Several terrariums and aquariums with inhabitants of this natural zone are established here. In a subtropical hotbed there are plants from the Andes, the Himalayas and New Zealand, and also a small exhibition about formation of brown coal in the foothills of the Ore Mountains. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.